Livestock are like bulls in a china shop. They kind of destroy everything. Don't throw your tanks out. You can fix them. I have a bunch of tanks that I have fixed. You just need a little bit of plastic 55-gallon drum material and a few 1/4-inch bolts and a little bit of silicone. That is literally split the whole way, and it hasn't leaked ever since we fixed it. Another thing, this here's a valve support. We don't use these anymore. We've gone to that tank down there, but you know, don't throw this drum material out. Make your own gate hooks with it. You don't need to buy gate hooks. You can make your own. Now it did take a little bit of work to get this figured out, because whenever you drag it through the grass, it wanted to get caught up and stuff. So we need to put little angles on the tops, and then down here where the slot is for the wire, that needs to be a little bit of an angle. And this one here does not catch in the grass or anything like that, but it's an awesome gate hook. That's what we're replacing all our other ones. And if you look at our temporary gate hooks, they all have teeth marks in them. Scott will show you why here after a bit. Okay. Yes.
Is there any place to buy those other than going to Blairsville?
You can get them at American Grazing Lands LLC. Jim Garish sells these. Timeless Fence sells the old style. There was an older style where the hooks were about twice as long as these. They sell that style one. But these here, I bought all mine from Ken Cove down in Blairsville. And you can see they break. I mean, they're cheap. This is the only gate, or the only reel that we use, but you can see we glue them together and bolt them together. And once I fix them, they don't break again unless Emmy or Walker run them over with a side-by-side. Or Mom. Is it Mom that does it? Yeah. Okay. Mom runs them over with.
You do it too.
And I tell them I need all the parts back so I can fix them. So one day they come to me with a stainless steel bowl about this big around, and there had to be 200 pieces in there. They said, well, you said to bring the pieces back. You know, I didn't say to disintegrate it either. As you've probably figured out, we do a lot of seed collecting here as well. It's fun, and it's an inexpensive way of putting new species on the farm. Our farm, we have 186 species inside our fences growing. That's all the woody species, the forbs, the legumes, and the grasses. Our grasses, I think there's around 19 different species of grasses that we got growing on the farm. And having that diversity, I hear a lot of folks, they were talking about the summertime droughts getting them this year. We went almost a whole month without any rain at all. With having the plant diversity, the different plants have the larger root systems, which in turn help you with the summertime droughts. Some of the ones, the cows are actually in a native planting now. There's a lot of different species in there, but the primary species are big blue stem, switchgrass, and Indian grass. And those there excel whenever it's super dry out. And the reason for that is they have them super long root systems, and the droughts really don't affect them much. And that's why that field's brown over there too. Okay, collecting seeds. Seeds are different sizes. They don't have to necessarily be cleaned if you're planting them on your farm. It's not an issue, but I like to sort them and try and get them as clean as possible. It's kind of like I don't want to say a game, but it's, you know, just one of those things. I like clean seeds, so that's what I strive for. One of the things that you run into with collecting seeds is you got to get it dry after you collect it. There's moisture in them. We collect a lot of vegetable seeds. They're wet or there's a chance of them molding. We put them in this here. This is a seed dryer. It has 2 computer fans in it. And then we put those are actually honey supers from beehives, and those are 10 frames. I went to a 9 frame and got rid of all my 10 frame hives. Put our seed in there, we turn that on and just kind of forget about it for a while, and then we come out, and then there's a few different ways you can thrash it. I do have a thrashing machine, but you can rub it against the screen, whatever, and then you have dirty seed. From there, one of the best things, if you can put them in a fanning mill, There's a lot of fanning mills throughout the countryside. This here's called a zigzag seed separator. So we use vacuum with the zigzag seed separator. I didn't have time to test this, by the way, so I've used it quite a bit. I haven't had time to adjust it for what I'm putting into it. But we just put a little vacuum on it. Scout has a problem with Ryobi tools. He wants to kill every one of them there's made. But you can see these are just acorn caps. And what would happen is if there was acorns, these are already clear. Those are already cleaned. Now, if there was acorns in there, what happened would be the acorns would drop through, and one did drop through that I missed from before. But your heavy seeds drop through here, and then it takes the trash over here, which it really does a super job. It's not my idea, but that's my design. Okay. There's a lot of zigzag. You can buy one. I think it's like $1,500. It's super crazy expensive, but heck, why don't you just build one? A lot of folks do frost seeding, and we used to do a lot of frost seeding, but we don't do that much anymore. But this here is one of the spinners that I didn't build the spinner for say, I just made it better. If anybody has bought the Pliers seed spreader, and I tell you it's junk, it's pretty much junk. The seed either doesn't spin through it or it goes through it too fast, whatever. What I did is I put an actuator on it here, which opens the slide gate, because one of the problems with this is the original that you buy from, let's say, I bought that from Amazon probably. But whenever the original seed spreader, you got to go out, open the gate up, then run around the side of your side-by-side and hop in before all the seed falls out onto the ground. So if you're running expensive seed, that's a little annoying. Now if you're using oats or something like that, it's not as costly. It's not a major deal. So another problem with this is, can you pop that off? Another problem is the way it's designed, the seed gets trapped up in the top of it. We went ahead and put an agitator in it that runs off of remote control as well. Windshield wiper motor, yeah. I couldn't think of it there for a minute. But it's just in there, it just agitates the seed and it falls out. It doesn't clog up or anything anymore. Okay, let's show them the other one. That one there is better for larger seeds. But the one I'm going to show you next, just lay it down there. It's fine. One thing you probably didn't notice is a lot of times when we broadcast seed, or when we used to broadcast seed, the best time to broadcast seed on your pastures is the first graze of the year. Forget about your frost seeding. Start broadcasted in front of your livestock the first graze of the year. This here is what they call a Gandy box. You'll find them on pesticide boxes, on corn planters a lot. This is where this one here came from. It was on a corn planter. It was sitting in the weeds. I seen it. I stopped and I asked the guy. He says you can have them for 25 bucks a piece. So I brought 4 of them home. Here is more for like clover, alfalfa. The small seeds, you could run canary grass through it. Like here, we want 10 pounds to the acre. I can set the setting, and that's within 1/2 ounce per acre is how well you can adjust that. If we want 10 pounds to the acre, our setting would be 50, and then miles per hour, we'd run at 8 miles per hour to get 10 pounds of seed to the acre. And that really wasn't that hard to build. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking to yourself, well, I can't weld. If you can cut the parts, you could have somebody do it for you. Or I suggest, does PASA still have the program where they'll teach folks to weld? Yeah, PASA has a welding program. And I think that that's something all welder or all farmers should know how to do. One of the things that makes us unique here on our farm, and unique for the folks that watch us on YouTube, is we don't have really any fancy equipment. I mean, it's very, very minimal. We have a welder, we have a metal cutting bandsaw, we have a milling machine that I don't know how to use other than use it for a drill press. So you could use it as a drill press, and just basically hand tools from there, right angle grinder. So it's not like I have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in equipment. You could be set up in your shop for probably, if you watch, less than 500 bucks. And how many times have you been broke down on a Saturday afternoon and nobody's able to help you? Happens more often than you think as a farmer. Now, these here are everything that I build from now on. If it's going to go into the pasture field with the cows or any of the livestock for that matter, we have what we call fence jumper. We just run right over top of our fences. You'll see the one on the front of my buggy. The Kiwis over in New Zealand, they have this big ugly thing that hangs about 8 feet out from in front of the buggy that they use to run over their fences over there. It's absolutely not necessary. That can be up high and up against the buggy. Well, you'll be able to see it on my buggy, but it will be up. It can be up against the buggy. You don't need that thing that sticks out there 10, 12 feet. Or whatever. Okay, what we can do is we can come back to this later this afternoon if you folks want to stick around. I'd be happy to get back into this. You know, a lot of times these events, they'll be over at 3 o'clock and we don't stop until we satisfy everybody's questions, I guess you could say. We had one here 4 or 5 years ago. It was ending at 3 o'clock and I finally come to the house at 8 o'clock at night. So I don't care. That's my job, to help you guys out. So we're gonna go out here and move the chicken tractor. That was one of the latest things that we built here on the farm that I think that a lot of you can actually use.